All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Dave Kosminski of the Future of the Water and Wastewater Industry and the Careers You Didn't Know About. This is take number 2, and you're never going to hear take number 1. So anyway, with us in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, is a good friend of mine and colleague, many years in the water industry, Professor Wes Winterbottom, who is the curator of the water management course at Gateway Community College. And we're putting this podcast together as a memorial for a good friend of ours who just passed away, who is the CEO of the Regional Water Authority down in New Haven, Connecticut, Larry Bingaman. So we're going to dedicate this podcast to him and his family, and going to share a lot of great stuff. So Wes, just a little backdrop. We have, again, for our viewers, that the Gateway Community College shared part of the building that Regional Water Authority is in.
Yeah, Gateway Community College is a result of a merger. It's probably 30 years ago now, between Greater New Haven State Technical College, which was in North Haven, and South Central Community College, which was in New Haven on Long Wharf on the other side of the building. That's the Regional Water Authority.
Yep.
So we were joined at the hip back then, or joined by brick and mortar, actually.
Yeah. I remember when I first took my water certification courses, that's where I went, and so forth, on the other side of Regional. Yes. So how many years were you guys there?
I think that must have been about 30 years.
Wow.
It was from the founding of South Central, and then we moved into the new building on Church Street in 2012, so might have been almost 40 years.
My God.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a while.
There's a lot of water under the dam there,
Yes.
or over the dam.
Yes,
So-
it is.
So anyway, and again, getting back to, I know there's a whole lot of stories that we can recall of Larry. I mean, what was your dealings with Larry?
Well, I dealt with Larry on a lot of different things over the years. I always found him to be a very kind and generous person, very good at putting others first. And he taught me a term I'd never heard before, conscience capitalism.
Yes.
That was one of the things that was kind of his avocation as a CEO, that was a little extra project that he was involved with some other CEOs from around the state. And what I always liked about Larry is that he didn't make a big deal about things, but he led by example.
Yes.
And, conscious capitalism means that capitalism a good thing. It may not be perfect, but we can tweak it a little bit so that it benefits everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that Larry worked very, very hard to do that. I think one of his things he saw as his job as the CEO of Regional Water was to help people who worked there, and also people who the Regional Water Authority interfaced with, and also help people out throughout the greater New Haven area.
Yeah. And I know Larry was heavily involved in the Chamber of Commerce also, I think.
Yes.
As his advocate.
Yes, he was. He was a mover and a shaker. He knew everybody, and everybody knew him. And
yeah.
Most people spoke very highly of him as well.
Absolutely. I can remember when I was chair of the Connecticut section, AWWA. In fact, I think 90 Sergeant Drive is still listed as CTAWWA's address on their website and so forth. But I attended many of the board meetings on the second floor in the round room right outside of Larry's office, and that was every month we used to have our board meetings down there, and it was very a stately building. You knew there were professionals all the way across the board that worked there, that worked for Larry, and he, like you said, he set by example.
Yeah, we were fortunate with, I guess we'll have to make sure I say the proper name now. Gateway Community College is now referred to as CT State, since all the community colleges in Connecticut have been merged. But, I can tell you that CT State Gateway is a better place because of the fact that Larry was so supportive of it.
Sure.
There's an awful lot of things that he did to make the lives of faculty and the students at Gateway better. He just did it. Didn't expect anything for it. Was very, very generous with his time and his support, and just did some very, very good things over the years for the college. And just some examples of what his conscience capitalism was. Can't remember exactly how long ago. Well, we were still in North Haven back then, so it was prior to 2012. But Regional Water Authority was going to upgrade their metering system, so they didn't need meter readers anymore running around reading meters. And one way to deal with that would be to lay off the meter readers because, hey, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Now we have these meters that are going to be read by cell towers, and we can get
Radio reads.
Radio reads. And that's not what Regional Water Authority did under Larry's leadership. Gateway was fortunate. We were hired by Regional Water Authority to offer the entire water management program to any Regional Water Authority employee that was interested in it, but they focused on the meter readers so that they could be trained to pursue other careers within the Regional Water Authority. And we did that twice. And they everybody had the tuition paid, they had their books paid. They were even gave off time from work, and one of the things that always puts a smile on my face is when we were teaching in the training room at Regional, and to get there you had to walk past the HR director's office. So I'm walking in there one Thursday afternoon to teach the class, and I think the class started at 3 o'clock or something like that. And Donna D was the HR director at the time. She pokes her head out the door and she says, "Wes, you're going to start your class 15 minutes late." Why is that? Why is that, Donna? Because today's cannoli day. And so I get down to where the classroom is, and it's right next to where they service their vehicles, and there's a cannoli truck that had pulled in there, so I had to have a cannoli, and then I went on to teach my class, and all my students got to have a cannoli. So
and that was part of the perks that
that was
Larry
part of the little things that Regional does for their employees.
Right. I can remember reiterating that story on our way back because you and I we carpooled down to his wake last Friday and so forth, and it was, I think, one of the reasons why we decided to do this podcast today, in memory of him, because he was a great guy, and again, he worked tirelessly, not only for Regional, but he was a big advocate for the water industry in itself, for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing that was a big thing that Larry did is he looked at his workforce, and he saw that within Regional, and it's pretty much goes across the board for public utilities, for energy and for water, that the workforce was graying, and there weren't a lot of people in the pipeline to replace the people who may be retiring in the near future. The old joke that we always have is that nobody goes to college planning on working for a public utility, and then people find out that they're actually very, very good jobs, and people tend to hang around a bit. So Larry spearheaded an effort to create, to get people together from energy and water utilities, and they happened to pick to meet with Gateway because we have the water management program, and we also train wastewater treatment plant operators, and also Southern Connecticut State University at the business school.
Yep.
And through Larry's leadership and good folks from Gateway and from Southern Connecticut State University, an associate's degree in utility management was created at Gateway, and a bachelor's degree in utility management was created at Southern.
Sure.
And Larry was very, very supportive of that, provided financial assistance to the institutions to get things up and running.
Yep.
So that's just another thing that he did to reach out and help others, to help the company, but also help others and help people find careers. And one of the nicest meetings I ever went to in my life is I got a call from Regional Water. I think it might have been the HR director that I needed to come down because there was going to be a meeting with Larry and the employees of Regional Water to talk about the utility management programs. So I went down and got to speak a few words. But the big thing that came out of it is that everybody from Regional was invited to come to the meeting, and the message that Larry gave was that Regional would pay for the tuition and the books for anybody at Regional who wanted to take the associate's degree at Gateway and then go on and take the bachelor's degree at Southern.
Nice.
Which is really, really nice. Again, that's another way to help people to move. It helps the company, but it also helps people to move ahead in their careers.
Well, workforce succession, that's been my mantra for many years, and Larry has deep roots in the energy industry. I mean,
Right.
before I think he came to regional from Aquarion. He was down in
Right.
Aquarion,
Right.
and he was in the gas industry prior to being in Aquarion. So Larry was well versed in the energy industry, and between you and I, as far as now that we're focused on, as we call the gray tsunami, as we got, or in my case, the bald tsunami. As far as that goes, we have to start, literally refilling the pipeline to get people to, I just retired after 50 years, and I'm still involved, but again, we have to get that awareness out there of that the jobs in the water industry, and that the water industry umbrella is a big umbrella. You've got HR, you've got meters, you've got engineering, you've got cross connections, you name it, and it's a big umbrella that you can get. And the neat thing about it, they're very secure jobs. They're not something that you can outsource across the pond.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing if you think about the energy and the water industries. That it's most of the people are not involved directly in creating the product. There's an awful lot of support that's there.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, why don't you describe just what the components of your water management program are? I know.
Okay, so for water management program, we train, we provide the training needed to take national exams which are given by Water Professionals International. That's the group that makes them up these days. And it's a sequence of 4 or 5 classes, including environmental regulations, utility management. There's a 6-credit course, which is water treatment and distribution. And then you get a choice of either special topics in treatment or special topics in distribution. But if you'd like to get both certifications, you really should probably take both of those. And if you complete the certificate at Gateway, then you can take the Class 4 treatment from the Connecticut Health Department examination and the
Yep.
Class 3 distribution, which is the highest level examinations that they give.
Yep.
And if you have both of those certifications, then your employment prospects are excellent. And,
Yeah.
the other thing that's nice is that the exams that are given by WPI are national exams. So if you want to go through the program at Gateway and then you want to work for water industry in New Hampshire or Indiana or California, whatever,
Yeah, the
the
reciprocity.
reciprocity is there.
Yeah.
So it's a good deal.
Well, that's the thing, and to your credit, how long you been teaching that class now? My God, it's been
It's probably more than 25 years.
yeah, exactly.
But it's something that I love to do because the students are great, and students know why they're there. You ask them to do something, they do it. I've got the course I'm teaching now, environmental regulations. They have to do a semester project, which is due on Sunday actually, and I'm looking forward to reading what they submit.
Sure.
Because I get some great stuff to look at. I always learn something looking at the stuff that my students submit.
Well, the thing, obviously we're post COVID, but tell us how COVID has affected your programs and the workarounds that you've had to do.
Well, so it's interesting because we started to teach. What we used to do is we would teach classes in New Haven, and then the next year we would teach the class at the MDC Training Center in Hartford.
Yep.
And then we decided that we would try using WebEx to give students a class. They could either attend the class or they could attend the class used from WebEx. So
Okay.
I would teach. Some of the students would come to New Haven or they come to Hartford, and we would broadcast the class.
Okay.
And then COVID, which was actually very nice because I had quite a bit of experience doing that, and I was the first person at Gateway to use WebEx. So when COVID hit, we were fortunate that the transition to WebEx was for all the classes. For me personally, was okay. But the most amazing thing is we have adjunct instructors, and most of the adjunct instructors had next to no applications with teaching remotely.
Yep.
And they had to learn quickly.
Yes.
And it was literally, I remember what happened was the Tuesday before spring break in 2020, I had to go to a meeting, and my dean was up there saying, okay, so we're going to be online for 2 weeks after semester break's over. That was on Tuesday. On Thursday, we have another meeting. No, we're going to be online for the rest of the semester.
Okay.
So I was amazed to see how people stepped up and
Got it
really
done.
really came through.
Got it done.
And I remember having some conversations with Larry and others, a couple of other CEOs, and the water companies adjusted to the COVID scenario as well. And I was very impressed to see the level of trust that the top level managers at water companies had with their employees
Sure.
who weren't going to be coming into the office.
Well, and that's again, it's the workaround, and because of that, I used to attend meetings, board meetings down there, and I was chairman of the conservation committee. I was chairman of the website committee and so forth, and all of those meetings were in-person meetings. Now, most of the meetings now, between CTA, WWA, or CWWA, they're all Zoom meetings, so you don't have to spend, an hour traveling down or 45 minutes traveling down to New Haven to attend a meeting. You jump on your computer, and obviously the attendance. Just on the CTA WWA legislative, we'll have 30 members, online, and so forth. So, which is made things very, very, very efficient.
Well, it's good for the water management program too, because we service the entire state of Connecticut, and I
Sure.
always say to people that it's a long way from Winsted and Putnam to New Haven.
Yes.
So it's a lot better if the students and the WebEx classes are fine. We do that in connection with Blackboard,
Yep.
so they can ask questions, whatever. And the classes, and the other nice thing about the WebEx classes is they can get recorded.
Sure.
So if you wanted to hear Professor Winterbottom go through it all again, you can hear Professor Winterbottom go through it all again.
There you go. There you go. Or if you missed the class,
Or if you missed the class, So that's it's actually very, very nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. And technology is moving all the time. It never ceases to amaze me. Now, how has technology, as far as with the advent of SCADA and a lot of the newer stuff, is that changed the syllabus of the curriculum at all?
Well, the big thing that's changing the syllabus is with the WPI examinations, there are need-to-know criteria.
Yep.
And we are meeting now once a month with Bill Sullivan, who heads up certification at the health department,
Yep.
and a few people from the water industry and the other educators in the field. And Bill has informed us that the WPI need-to-know criteria are changing. He's expecting them to come out in December. So we're going to be tweaking our courses for the spring semester, assuming these criteria come out, to meet the new need-to-know criteria.
Yeah. I think Bill has been alluding to that for the last 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And it hasn't quite gotten there yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Well, I've got a meeting this Wednesday at 1:00, so hopefully he'll be able to tell me
What's going on?
where they are.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, that's as technology changes and the criteria for the exams changes, you've got to tweak the curriculum, accordingly.
The big thing for us is we always have had a very high pass rate on the national examinations, and we want to. We want to make sure that's continued. So in a way, a lot of what we do is we teach for the test, but that's the ultimate criteria. It's nice that you get the certificate from Gateway, but it's even nicer
when
if
you
get
pass
the certificate and you get the
DPH.
certifications, so you're a certified operator.
Yeah, exactly. Well, years ago when I started, you didn't even have to take the Gateway course. You just signed up for the the state exam, and before I think I failed twice before I actually passed it. As far as that goes, but then I ended up taking the Gateway class.
Right.
But yeah, times have changed. So going from there, but in the water industry, and again, as a whole, the water community is a very close knit community. As from Larry's wake on Friday, how many people from other industries, from other utilities, were there paying tribute to Larry and his family and so forth, which is very touching.
That's one of the nice things about the water industry in Connecticut. It is kind of a family atmosphere. And as I tell my students, keep your noses clean, because everybody knows everybody. It's a small community, and you can do really, really well.
Well, and the thing is that a lot of people move around within the industry. I know, a lot of people that have retired, from Connecticut Water now are working for Snyder Engineering, or and vice versa. So there's a lot of movement. Or you start out a regional and you go to Aquarion, or vice versa. So, and again, but the knowledge base is there, and the close knit, family feeling is there, and everybody, like you say, everybody knows everybody else. So which is a good thing. It's not like it's so impersonal.
Yeah, a couple more nice things about Larry is that he's always been like a continuous supporter. It's not just that he starts things, but he starts things, gets things up and running, then he's there for you to make sure that
To follow through.
The follow through. The follow through is always there. And for me personally, the lab that I teach my chemistry class in N421 at our Church Street campus, most of the cost of the lab was paid for by the Regional Water Authority's foundation.
Nice.
So it's always nice for me to walk in to teach my class and see the plaque that's on the door on the way in and say, yeah, we got your back.
Sure.
We're here for you.
And that's, mostly part due to Mr. Bingaman.
Yeah.
For sure. Exactly.
Yeah, that's, I feel very fortunate, and I think that I'm a better professional and a better person that had the good fortune of having Larry be part of my life for so many years.
Absolutely. You and me both. I think, he set by example, and, that's the way he lived his life. And he's going to be remembered by that, for sure, for sure. Anyway, so you're well into the first or second semester now, or
no, we're just finishing up. We're just finishing up the fall semester. We've got this week, next week, there's classes, and then we have everybody's personal favorite. The second week of December is final examinations.
Yes, yes.
So we're getting there. It's pretty hectic time of year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm out of touch because I'm retired now. So first semester, second semester, my biggest challenge is figuring out what day it is. Go from there. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about as far as that goes?
No, I just thank you for the opportunity, Dave. I was taken aback to hear about Larry's death. I found out about it a week ago today, and my dean contacted me, and Rose wrote me an email and said, "Did you hear anything about Larry?" And I didn't know anything about it, so I had actually called you, Dave, and you had shared the information.
Yeah.
With me, and I had seen Larry at a meeting at Southern Connecticut State University in September, and he looked great, and he was the usual Larry enthusiasm. What do we do to move this ahead? What can I do to help? And what are you going to do about this? And what are you going to do about that? And I just feel very blessed that I was able to work with him for so many years.
You and I both.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Well, anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that I think concludes this episode of the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. And again, this podcast is dedicated to a great gentleman, a great guy that supportive of the water industry, the CEO of Regional Water Authority, Larry Bingaman. So, Larry and his family, this is for you, and thank you so much for all you've done for the water industry. And from that standpoint, that is all. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, Dave.
You're welcome. Thank you, Wes.